Hello, you all. I'm Diana Brienne, and I never really know if I'm on live or not. That's why I kind of sit there for a moment in silence. And I didn't really let anyone know that I was coming on exactly at this time or if I would be on today. So I hope a few of you jump on. There are a lot of live streamers on right now, and it's very hard to pick a time when I can come on and live stream that my friends are also not on. So I try to be very thoughtful if I can and work around their live streaming as well. But I'm going to go over here for a moment and I'm going to, let me see, am I live? I think I'm live. I think I'm live. I think I'm public. Did I make it public? Yep. So I'm going to go over here and share this out and wait for different ones to come on. And I am going to put my glasses on so that comments I can read. And I hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful Sunday. And remember, if you don't comment, I don't know who is actually on here. So you need to comment. If I miss your comment, just keep commenting until I see it. Okay. So let me go over here for a moment and share out to my public pages. And then I will be right back. And as you all know, I have Facebook pages. My private page is maxed, but my public page is not. It is endless. You can go on there if you want to message me or follow my postings. Let me go ahead and put this up. I hope you're all doing wonderful today. See, live, jump on. Okay, we got that one. And then one more. Okay. You know, I'm on Instagram and Twitter too, but I don't really do much over there. I just do a lot on Facebook. Okay, let's see. Got to put that on. Okay, let's see. Okay, I am back. Hey, Michelle, great to see you. Thank you for coming on. You know, Michelle, it's hard for me to pick a time to come on when, you know, others are not already on. This is a very, very high time for people to be on. Hey, Didine, nice to see you. And so, you know, when I went to the YouTube screen, I had about 20 different friends who were on live streaming, and many of us have the same friends. And so, you know, I may not have, you know, but a handful of people come on today, or I may have a lot. I have no idea. Welcome, Christ for all nations. Welcome. And so, you know, this is an opportunity for people to get to know each other and to connect with each other and to hear a little bit of wisdom if you would like to hear some wisdom. And what I do is, while you all are friend connecting, I go and I read wisdom notes, which are mine, fresh out of the oven daily, and I share them with you. They're random subjects. They can be about anything that came to me while I was waking up, while I was out on my run, or whatever. Now, today I just finished my 5-mile run, and it is a beautiful, beautiful Sunday. And so I got out there, I went for a run, and normally I go to the gym, but I think today I have a lot of little things I want to do, and I want to spend time with my family. And so I think I'm not going to the gym today. I think I'm going to skip it and stay home. And as most of you know, I'm a 62-year-old college student, and I went back to college this past year. And I'm taking more advanced courses, legal courses. And so I drive an hour to and an hour from college. And so my weeks are very, very busy. I am trying to get on here live more often. And, you know, I just don't know exactly what times of the day I will be on. I may even come in the evening and do a live. And usually there again, a lot of my friends are doing lives as well. So it's very hard to pick a time that no one else is doing lives. And So, but I do try to be respectful of other people. And Christ for Nations, I'm doing super Christ for Nations. And Irish Pindi Boy, welcome, welcome. Welcome, Sandra. Great to see you. And yeah, so it's an opportunity for you all to meet each other. Yesterday, I had, I think, a total of around 300 people that had come on. You know, people come on and they stay a little while and then they leave. So I was really, really surprised that I had 300 people, because I don't usually tell people when I'm going to be on. You know, maybe one day there'll be nobody. Who knows? I mean, I just come on, and whether one person comes on or whether 300 people come on, you know, it's just, you know, whatever it is. So Irish Panda Boy, he says hello to Michelle. I have new works by preaching Jesus' words. Great. Christ for Nations. That's wonderful. Irish Pinda, yes, we're connected, Irish Pinda. And I'm connected with all of you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be seeing me come live, I believe. So, so I did my run, and I listened. I didn't go to church today. I listened to my favorite preacher online. And I have a couple very, very favorite preachers that I listen to. Now, I grew up, we didn't have motivational speakers or anything like that when I grew up. We didn't have self-help books. You know, I grew up in the, I was born in the 50s. I grew up in the 60s and the 70s, and we just didn't have self-help and motivational. But we had preachers. And so I grew up on preachers. And so I still go back to you know, different preachers that are my favorites. So I'm not going to mention which ones they are, but I do have some really, really good ones that I listen to. Remember, again, anyone on here, if you don't comment, we won't know that you're on here, and you won't be able to friend connect. So, so I listened to my favorite preacher, and then my son just went to the gym. My other son is working. My daughter got her first apartment a week ago, and so she's there. And then my husband, he's golfing. My husband's a golfer, and so he loves to golf. That's what he does, and his whole life is golfing. And so. For me, I am an artist. I'm a mom. I'm a college student. I'm a runner. I work out at the gym. I love to cook. I love to decorate, and I write. So I have a very, very full life. Our daily breath. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay. Well, welcome to you all. I appreciate you being here, Juicy Porto. I appreciate you being here. And so, yeah. So how is everyone doing today? How are you all doing? Well, I leave my glasses on because I can't read the comments and I can't read my notes if I don't have them. I have 20/20 vision, but to read, it gets a little fuzzy, and which is not unusual for someone my age. And so I'm going to start reading a little bit of wisdom while you all connect. Now, you all know that on occasion I get a troll, and I talk about it a lot, so I welcome them so we can block them. You know, they often say that back in the medieval times, the kings would invite their enemy in so he could identify them, and then he would zap them. So I don't zap the trolls, but we most certainly block them, because if they're disrespectful to anyone on the news feed or disrespectful to me, you know, we don't go for that. People do make mistakes, though, and we allow for mistakes. One day, everyone was putting too many emojis up, and so I am going to start with some of today's notes, and then I may go over to some of my other notes that I wrote down, so you all can connect. Clean up your life. You know, so many people's lives are in a state of mess, and they really, really need to clean up their life, especially their daily habits. Some people's habits are really in the trash bin. And I think when we take a look at our habits, often we can do so much better in life. And, I'm always paying close attention to my daily habits because if I don't, what can happen is, we can get ingrained in certain kinds of habits. And then what happens is we get comfortable there. And when we get comfortable in bad habits, it will take us in a bad direction. So clean up your life, clean up your relationships, clean up your finances, clean up your car. Just clean up your life. Make your life sparkly, clean, and what you really, really want it to be. Don't expect good results if you're not cleaning up your life. Okay? Flourish under all circumstances. One of the things is people often think they will flourish only under good circumstances. But the truth is, we flourish under all circumstances. Sometimes we just don't realize it. There are always opportunities in difficult times. There's always opportunities during challenging moments. We are like a diamond. Diamonds form under pressure. And if it wasn't for the pressure, diamonds would not form. And so just remember that if you want to be successful in life, don't wait for the good times. Flourish throughout all of your times, the great times, the mediocre times, and the not so good times. Don't let other people create havoc in your life. Some people enter people's lives and they just bring all negative stuff with them. I knew someone who had let someone move in with them. And up until that point, their life, their family, everything was in great harmony. And then they let this person move into their home, and their whole home and dynamics was completely upset. One day, about 3, maybe 4 years ago, somebody called my number. Now, we had met this person, and they had gone through a really, really difficult and challenging time. And we're very, very supportive of people. And yet, I don't bring people into my home that should not be here. And so this person called, and they wanted to come move in until they found a place. And I said, absolutely not. I'm sorry. I cannot do that. I just simply said no. And I said, but I can refer you to some places that can possibly help you. And I did. I referred them to other places because this person was going through a time that all they would bring would be disruption. And I knew that it wasn't going to be anything good. So I guard my life. I protect my life. I protect my life on YouTube. I protect my life on virtual media. Like I said, I surround myself with people that are qualified, that have my back, that look out for me. And that's why I choose good moderators like Michelle. And because they are no nonsense, they don't put up with anything. You don't want to put up with what's not good. The more you tolerate bad behavior, the more you welcome bad behavior, the more it will flourish. And you don't want that. You want great things to flourish. So you have to eliminate the bad behaviors. God will meet you exactly where you're at. Some people think that they've gone so far down a road that that God won't have anything to do with them. And that's not true. That's not true. God will meet you exactly where you're at, and he can take your mistakes and turn them into blessings. God knows the journey that you're going to be on. And often people go down wrong roads and they think God's just not going to have anything to do with them. I don't believe that's so at all. I believe that God will meet you right where you're at. Okay. Rejection is your gateway to success. Rejection is your gateway. I've been rejected by jobs. I put in applications only to get a far better one. And, even though I was the one that broke up with a boyfriend many, many years ago, it was because I felt a sense of rejection. He wasn't being all that faithful to me, and he was a cheater. And I found that out, so I dumped him, but I felt rejected. But that rejection led to my wonderful, amazing husband of 30 years. So had I not married that guy, my life would not have turned out even a remotely looking like what it does today. So I am so very, very grateful. So just remember that. Remember that your rejection is your gateway to success. Okay, so remember that. Thinking of others, hello, hello. And I thank you, Michelle, for keeping a great eye on here. Chrissy, great to see you. Me, Ann, great to see you. Thank you, Me-Ann. I appreciate you. Sandra is here. Wegwin, thank you for coming. Thank you. Maravik, welcome, welcome. I thank you for coming. And like I said, you know, it's very hard to come on here and know when to come on here, because when I went to come on today, I looked and I had already put up something that said I would be on at 1:10. And I had looked out and I saw that there was like, I think it was around 20 live streamings going on that I knew of. And I thought, you know what, I'm still going on anyhow, because you just can't time it. You really, really can't time it. And, you know, we all kind of step onto each other's toes, and that's okay, you know, when it comes to doing live streaming. Yes, I relate with, I've been rejected last year, but God is making ways to raise you up. Maravik, absolutely. Use your rejection as your gateway to your success. You know, like I said, I've had so many rejections in my life. Hey, Chrissy, hey, and Gloria, welcome. I've had so many rejections, and they've always led me to my successes in life. And so I just trust God. You know, I trust God and I keep out there. You know, we don't want to be like Jackie Blue. Now, I grew up in the 70s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and there was a song called Jackie Blue Lives in Her Room. And she was kind of a sad character. Well, we don't want to be like Jackie Blue and live our entire lives in the virtual world. I live my life in my in-person world as well as my virtual world, and they both complement each other. Thank you, Our Daily Breath. I appreciate you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you. You know, not everybody wants to hear wisdom. Not everybody is where we're at. Not everybody wants to grow in life. Some people are happy being stuck where they're at in the ditch. And so wisdom is the last thing they want to hear, because, well, that kind of reminds them that maybe they need to make some changes to improve their life. You know, one of the things is who you surround. Welcome, young Black creative. Welcome to you. One of the things is, who do you surround yourself with? Who are you surrounding yourself with? You know, I'll tell you a little story here. And the reason I get up and down, is because one day I was on here and I put my glasses in front of me and they dropped and they broke. So when I take my glasses off, I put them to the side. Okay. And so one day I was on the telephone this past week, and this particular person I know pretty well in person, and they are connected with somebody that particularly does not like me. And I'll explain why. I was over on another virtual media another virtual media site. And this person was kind of, they wanted to be in charge of everything, even other people's pages. And that did not sit well with me. So I did not respond to them. And so they did not like it that I did not respond to them. And so, but they're connected to this other person, and this other person's very close with them. And so I keep that in mind, because the people that we interact with who are very close with someone who may not like us is going to be affected by that person that does not like us. And in turn, there's going to be a part of them that holds back in the relationship. So I'm friends with this person, but yet I keep my polite distance. So I got off the phone the other day pretty quick because, well, with this particular person, they sometimes will talk, pull you in through positive conversation only to then kind of start to talk negative. And, I keep my conversations very positive oriented. I'm very realistic. I'm not, there's two kinds of optimists. The smart optimist and the foolish optimist. The foolish optimist refuses to see reality. And the smart optimist sees reality and uses it in a way to create a wonderful life. And so I look at life realistically, and I look at people. Not all people belong in my life. Sometimes there's a clash of personalities, and that could be in some cases. I'm very open and understanding to most people, but I don't like people who are so opinionated that they can't hear someone else's opinion, because we all have an opinion and they may be different from each other. We don't have to have the same opinion, but one thing we need to do is respect the fact that each other has an opinion. And if someone cannot respect the fact that I have an opinion different than theirs, and yet I'm respecting the fact that their opinion is different, then, I back off from people like that. Sometimes hidden agendas can be discovered within a favor or a question someone is asking you. I'm very careful about responding back when people ask me a favor. I do favors all the time for people, but I'm very slow in reacting because often there's a hidden agenda with some people, not all people, but some people. So I make sure I have clarity first before I step into something that I may have a hard time stepping out of. Don't support whiny behavior. I don't support people who whine. I support people who are going through a challenging and difficult time, who want to find an answer, who want to come up with a solution. But I don't support whiny behavior, because whiny behavior is just people wanting to whine. They don't really want to do the work to make it better. They just want to whine. And so I don't support that. But when they're ready to change their life, they can come to me. Start bringing all good things into your life and start to clear out the rubbish from your life. If you have relationships that are never going to improve, perhaps you may not want to invest as much time in those relationships, and start investing in relationships with people that can help change your life for the better. Because the people that we associate with really, really do affect our lives. So we have to remember that. We have to remember that people that we associate with do affect our lives. African American life in the Philippines, welcome to you. Carla, welcome, welcome. Thank you, Carla. Everyone, make sure you check out my moderators' pages and channels. They are amazing. Carla has a huge following on her lives, and she's building her channel. And I can tell you, her channel and my channel kind of complement each other. Our channels are very different from each other. Carla, like myself, is a very no-nonsense person. She's very understanding. She'll listen to you, but she won't put up with bad behavior. And so I think you'll really like Carla's, going on to Carla's channel as well. So do connect on here. And like I said, it's kind of challenging and difficult to pick a time to go on. And like I said, yesterday I had about 300 total on here. And then today, I don't have any clue how it's going to be. And like I said, I come on here for one person, or I come on here for 300 people. It's just that, it doesn't matter to me. And I share my wisdom out with you all. Well, you're all connecting. And Ruby, thank you, Carla. And like I said, Carla, I love coming over to your channel. Your channel is very, I really see you as a huge success Carla. I really do. I know you're starting out kind of like me. I've only been up less than 2 months, up publicly. Although I've had a channel for 10 years, I've only really been up publicly for 2 months. And my channel just took off and running. And so is Carla's. Carla is going to be a huge success. Ruby. You will love Ruby's channel. And please go to Michelle's channel. Michelle is an amazing moderator, and she's just wonderful. And Ruby loves to dance and sing, and you will feel good when you go to her channel. Her channel is a feel-good friend connect, and you will absolutely love Ruby's channel as well. Passion for hunting and fishing. I'm glad you're here. Ma J Zid, I'm glad you're here. And so I'm going to continue on. So yes, you want to bring all good things into your life. Don't live a complacent life. Get out of complacency. You know, I wake up each morning and I spend an hour in bed with my cup of coffee in the dark. And I write down scribble notes, which is what I'm holding on to right now. And all of my wisdom comes at that time. When I get up in the morning, I decide, how do I want my life to look? And I constantly am coming up with steps that I can take to create my best life. And I'm 62 years old. I work out every single day. I juice every day. I'm very careful what I eat. I stay away from sugar. I'm vegan. I make my celery juice. My only vice is coffee. And I hear coffee is actually good for you. I don't know if that's true, but I believe it. Angel Bach, welcome. Oh, thank you, Angel. Thank you. And thank you. You know, Angel, I have, as I've been telling many of you, I have about 1,000 paintings, and I've never had a lesson in my life, not one lesson. And I paint every day. That's one of the things that I do in the kitchen. Now, I have an art studio, but I don't paint there. I paint in my kitchen because I like it. And knit, purl, and squirrel with Granny D. Oh, hold on, Granny D. You're going to be a moderator here. Let me get you. Let me get you. There you are, Granny D. Okay, here's another channel you want to go to. And all of your channels, I hope you're friend connecting with each other. Granny D, knit, purl, and squirrel with Granny D. You are going to love her channel as well. She's like your grandmother, kind of like I am, who just kind of sits there and talks to you. And it's like sitting on her porch, you know, and like I talk about sitting on my porch and hey, life with Bob and Boo Boo, welcome. And so you want to go to her page, her channel, because she really will feel at home. She's a no-nonsense person like Carla and I are. We're just totally no-nonsense people. And so you will love that. Angel says, I do paintings too, using acrylic, just started last year, and it's a self-study as well. You know, Angel, I didn't even have a book. I just started in the carport when we lived way down in Texas. And my kids were all babies and I couldn't get out of the house. And I just started. And people would drive by and wave to me at 1 o'clock in the morning. I had one of those overhead lights and I would be out there painting while my children were sleeping, or I'd be in the kitchen, you know. And yeah, I've been painting and I love it for 20 years. 20 years. Yeah. So I want you to write down what you really want in your life. What do you really want your life to look like? Don't be afraid to write it down. Visualize it. You know, I write everything down, even the stuff I think, oh, you know, I don't know if it's going to happen, so I better not write it down, because if I write it down and it doesn't happen, then I'll have to erase it. I don't do any erasing. I just write it down. Write down. Make your life look different. Make it different. Make it what you want. If you want to be healthy, then write it down. If you want to be fit and fabulous, write it down. If you want a new car, write it down. If you want new friendships, write it down. If you want a huge YouTube channel, write it down. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting a huge YouTube channel. I have a friend. I'm not going to mention his name because many of you will know him. He's a wonderful friend, a personal friend of mine. And he has almost 3 million subscribers. Yeah. And I've known him for about 10 years. And I remember him starting out just like we're all starting out. Okay. And he now has 3 million subscribers. And it's going to be based on what you present yourself authentically. I'm authentic. Carla's authentic. Ruby's authentic. Granny D is authentic. We're all authentic. And that's what will set you apart. Your difference. Quit trying to be like everybody else. I could come on here and try to be the typical 62-year-old. I'm not. I'm never going to be. When I'm 72, I will not be typical. I've never been typical. I don't want to be typical because it's my uniqueness that has made me stand out, that has brought me the blessings that I've had. And had I been like everybody else, well, I don't want to be like everybody else, but I want to relate to everybody else. Okay, there's a big difference. You want to be relatable, and that will bring your people in. You have to be relatable. Sometimes I'm going to get on here live, like I showed you last night on my channel, from the laundry room, folding laundry. I will be folding laundry on my live streams. Okay, and I want you all to feel that you can relate to me. And I do my own laundry. I shine my own windows. And my husband for Christmas bought me this unlimited car wash salon. And so I go every other day. But up until that point, I wash my own cars twice a week. Yeah, that's a little neurotic. And I'm a little neurotic, and I'm proud of it. Yesterday, we had a business meeting here, my husband and I did, and we had a friend also come by, and the person had not been to our home before, and I'm covered with antiques. You come into my home, and I told him, I said, I'm eccentric. He said, I love your home. This is fascinating. I have antiques everywhere, paintings everywhere, I said, well, you know what? I'm eccentric, and I'm proud of it. I remember many years ago in LA, because I lived in LA, I left a small southern town at 18, 19 years old, moved to California, moved to LA area, and I met this extraordinarily wealthy woman, and she was old, and she said, honey, I'm old enough to be eccentric. And I always remember that. She was proud to be eccentric. And so I'm a bit eccentric, but I love, love, love being eccentric. I always say that I'm going to be like the little old lady in the Twilight Zone. I don't know if you all remember that one with Robert Redford. He played Mr. Death, and he played Mr. Death on the Twilight Zone. And she was afraid of Mr. Death. And her house was, she was very eccentric. So she would go out and sweep her porch, but made sure Mr. Death wasn't out there. So I'll be like the little old lady that lives in this big house with all my antique clocks and everything. So, hey, reap what you sow. Welcome, welcome. Ahmed, welcome. The Kroons, welcome. I'm just reading comments here. Just reading my comments. Okay. And so, yeah, being eccentric, being unique, being authentic, be you. Granny D is so herself. Ruby is so herself. Carla is so herself. My friends that I love are so themselves. Hey, my son, I see my son on here. So everybody be good. My son is here. He's jumping on. Get back to your workout, my son. Get back to your workout. I love you. Okay. I'm on here live, and my husband jumps on. My kids jump on here to see what mom's talking about. Angel Bach, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. The Kroons, I'm so happy to have you. Sandra Reith, I'm probably missing somebody, and so forgive me with that. Okay. Don't take your life for granted. Don't wait till something bad happens in your life and then go, oh, I love my life. I love my life. I should have lived it differently. live your life today and love your life that you have. I do not waste one moment of my life. Okay, Ruby. If someone is not doing anything wrong, you know, we don't. Of course, everybody's welcome. We don't block anybody unless they are rude or a troll, and they cannot put emojis. You know that you can use one or two emojis, but you just can't flood the channel with emojis. But you're all here, welcome to connect, and even if you can't speak English, that's okay. We'll figure it out. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, so it's all good. I love all my moderators. They have tough jobs to do. You know, I only pick the best moderators because I know that they're protecting me and they mean well. So if by chance one of them has booted you out, just jump back in and, you know, keep it all good. And thank you, Bob. Please do put that. You know, the other day I got I had about 300 people and I got 2 unlikes. And what happened was my moderators booted them out a couple times. And so they got mad and they gave me 2 unlikes. And that's okay. That's okay. I can live with unlikes. John McDonald, welcome, welcome. Keep checking out everybody's channels. Connect with each other. That's what you're here for. You know, you're here secondary to hear my wisdom. Okay, but you're here to connect with each other and make new friendships. Life is about connecting. You know, one right person can change your life for the better. One wrong person can mess up your life. Always remember that. So, you know, metal music, welcome, welcome. Marianne Roca, welcome, welcome. So, you know, just remember, you want to surround yourself with positive influences. And I'm a positive influence. I don't give advice. I don't give suggestions. I just tell you how I live my life. But I'm a positive role model. And I have many, many positive role models and friends in my life. And Jill McDonald, welcome. And so, you know, surround yourself with great people. If you're having struggles in life, you may be surrounding yourself with the wrong people. Find a way to get close to the right people for your life. Gradimir, welcome. And so you want to surround yourself with the best of people. Okay. I tell my kids that all the time. One wrong person can really, really mess up your life. You know, when my kids were growing up, Ruby, go to the public page. Now, my personal page, Facebook page, has got 5,005. You're supposed to only be allowed 5,000. I don't know how I got 5,005. So even if you message me there, I won't get it. It'll go over to some other inbox that I rarely ever check. But if you go to my my public, it's called a fan page, a like page. I don't like that name because you know why? Because nobody is my fan. You're all my friends. If you're on my channel, if you're on my pages, you're not a fan. You're a friend. Okay. You're at equal standing with me. No one is above me and no one is less than me. We're at equal standing. So I don't like the word fan page, but I had about 12,000 on the public page. So Ruby, you go to the public page and you can post the link on here if you want. And that's how you all can communicate with me through, I do check the messages over on the Facebook public page. So how you'll know it's the public page, it had around 12,000. Now it's down to like 10,000 something because Facebook changed the rules and a lot of people got knocked off. And then on top of that, when Facebook changed the rules so that only people who click the little arrow follow first on newsfeed, there's a little arrow over there. They're never going to see your postings. So all of a sudden, I went from this extremely busy page with 12,000 people. You know, I couldn't even keep up. And down to where people, if they wanted to see my postings, they had to come over to the page itself. And so that bothered me. So I called Facebook. They called me back. I talked to many people over at Facebook and they said, well, the rules have changed and now people have to click the little arrow that says follow first on newsfeed if they're going to see your postings. So what I basically use the channel for now, or the page for now, is for my messaging, so that people who meet me on YouTube, because we don't have an inbox over here to my knowledge, people over here can message me over there, and at some point I'll get that message. Also, I wanted to talk about when you leave comments. You know, I go back and I read every single comment that you all put up here, every single comment. Even if I miss it the first time around, I go and I read it, okay, just to let you know. And I'm a homestead channel, goats gardening, tips on living on the homestead, raising our own meat and vegetables from Louisiana, not looking for numbers, just friends. You know, reap what you sow. I love your channel, okay? And you promote all that is good, and I promote all that is good. I don't do trash channels. I do great channels. And reap what you sow. That is wonderful. And yes, it's not about numbers. It's about friends. And so I do comment back. Now, I was 3 days back on commenting on my videos. I had a lot. I had hundreds of comments, and I was 3 days behind. So last night, yesterday, I went back and I spent about 3 hours commenting and responding and going to other people's channels and to watch their videos. And I do get back to you. I promise I do get back to you. It's just that sometimes it may take 2 or 3 days before I get back to you, because I'm very, very new at this. Yes. John, I have about 1,000 that I've done. And periodically I stick them in the background. Sometimes they're just drying. And the one behind me is a silly little painting. As many of you know, part-time I live on an island. And it's a small 2-mile island called Tybee Island off of Savannah. And my kids were babies there. I used to pull them in the wagon, and we would go feed the seagulls. Now that little wagon sits on my front porch. It's kind of rusted out, but it's such a cherished memory. And I used to put all 3 of my kids in that wagon because they were so small. And I would wheel them out on the beach. And it was just such a wonderful time of my life. And so that was my, that says going to Tybee Island on the side. And that's my 3 little kids with me driving. One of my favorites. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. And so, Ruby, if you can find that link, and if you want to post it here, that would be great. And that would be super. Let me grab some of my other notes over here so that I can continue on reading you all some notes. Okay. Thank you. It's a red rider wagon. When our first son was born, we were living over in Europe, and so we lived out in Bavaria in the farm fields and in Heidi territory, and with cows and chickens and all of that. And we ordered the little red rider wagon, and that was when the internet first just came out, and we ordered it over the internet. And so then, 2 more children, and that wagon was filled up, and we were living on Tybee Island. Karen McMillan, welcome. And Karen welcomes all the friends here. Okay, so go check out Karen's channel, Michelle's channel, Sandra's channel, the Kroons, John, Life with Bob, greetings from Wisconsin at the Kroons. My grandfather was from Norway. And, there's just, I have amazing channels. In 2 months' time, my channel, it was only designed for family and friends. I had it up for 10 years. So less than 2 months ago, I came more public. And my channel is it took off. And so that's why sometimes it's a little more challenging for me to get on here and in a timely manner to answer the comments, because I do come back. It just might be 2 or 3 days. Back right awag to all messages. That's the reason I spent 3 days. I skipped my live stream. I finished my notification last night. Big Chew, welcome. Yes. everybody go check out Big Chew's channel and connect over there. Okay. The foolish invest in wrong investments. The wise invest their time and energy where they should. Some investments are dead ends. Some are open to growth and opportunity. Taking a dead end job will keep you there unless you are using it as a bridge. If you want someone to find you attractive, invest in yourself. If you lost your edge, go find it. It is there. People choose to lose their edge in life in many or most cases because they don't want to do the work to maintain it. You can get your edge back the opposite way that you lost it, by investing time and energy back into it. Thank you, Ruby. Thank you. Thank you. And I just keep on talking, whether there's one person on here, whether there's 300, like, was it yesterday? Yesterday, I think it was yesterday. I had 300 total. The gift of rejection. When someone rejects you, they are freeing you up for the right people to come into your life. You know, I've had people reject me, and I just went, why? But it freed me up for the right people to come in my life. And I said, well, this person has no right to reject me. But you know what? They actually knew better than I did, that the relationship was not meant for us. Don't spend your life trying to measure up or down to anyone else. Only measure up to someone who makes you better. An explanation is a gift and not a necessity in most cases. You don't have to explain everything to everyone. You really, really don't. Just explain it to the right people that matter in your life. We don't owe everybody an explanation. Sometimes you have to travel for what you want. I always believe the best way is to stay as close to home as you can. But when often close to home doesn't give you the opportunity, another place can. You know, in my life, I lived in LA. Well, I lived actually in Palm Springs, but I had an amazing job in LA for 6 years. And so I didn't want to leave Palm Springs because it was beautiful. I mean, there's no place more beautiful than Palm Springs. So I drove 2.5 hours into LA for work and 2.5 hours back so that I could have the best of both worlds. Sometimes you have to drive for what you want. Don't deny your age. Celebrate your age. I celebrate being 62 years old. I'm 62 and I'm proud of it. And when I'm 72, I will be proud of it. And when I'm 82, I will be dancing and running and celebrating it and doing YouTube videos. And who knows what my channel will be doing at that particular point 20 years from now. You know, remember, life changes. It changes every single day. Every day is an opportunity for you to grow and develop. And there are no ordinary days. Don't think that there are ordinary days in your life. No day is ordinary. You know, when I tell my children, I'm going to tell you what I tell my children. I have 3 young adult kids and they all drive. Okay. And so when they leave here, this is what I tell them. There are no ordinary days. And that goes both ways. It goes the way in the sense that people go out and say, oh, it's a beautiful day, and they're not paying attention and they get in a wreck. Because anything can happen on any day. Okay, so I treat every day as an extraordinary day for opportunities and also to self-protect. I'm a very protective person. I protect my relationships. I protect my life. In our beautiful, wonderful little area, I think it was about a week ago, there was somebody who did home intrusion. And we don't live in the kind of area that happens in. Well, you know, it was not a good situation that happened. And it was in the news here, and we were just all shocked. And, you know, I'm very protective. I mean, I have the bells and the whistles and the alarm systems. And even if you ever look at my door handles, I have wind chimes on every door handle. Why? Because when that door opens, they make a lot of noise and I can hear people when they come in. Even if the alarms are off, I can hear people when they come and go. And I'm very self-protective when I'm out. You know, I pay attention to my surroundings and I pay attention to what's going on around me at all times, at all times. So there are no ordinary days, but there's also no ordinary day for opportunities. People get up and they go, oh, it's just another ordinary day. Are you kidding? No day is ordinary. No day is ordinary. They're all extraordinary opportunities for you to live your best life. I'm going to live my best life, whether anyone else does or not. I'm going to live my best life. You know, I stream a church, a couple churches, because one of the churches I went to is down in Georgia, and we live like one state up now from Georgia. And yeah, I guess it's one state up. And so we're still in the South, but we still have our home on Tybee, so we go there too, and in Georgia. And so my preacher, one of my preachers is a big preacher, and so I stream him. And then I have another favorite down in Texas that I've watched ever since we've lived in Texas. And I just feel, for me, I love to be surrounded by positive-minded people. So who I listen to is extremely, extremely important to me. And so how I got talking about that and safety, I don't know. But in other words, these big churches, they also have safety things. And just because it's a good place, they don't take safety for granted. And so I don't take safety for granted in my life whatsoever. And I've taught my kids to be always alert, that there are no ordinary days. Okay. And, you know, I'm just rambling on because, well, you know, when you do these lives, they're not scripted. And my 5-minute videos on Grandma's Porch, they're not scripted either, but they're subject oriented. I come on, I talk about a subject, and then I get off. Whereas here, I'm kind of all over the place. So, you know, so that's the way it is. So I hope you're all connecting. I've been preaching the Jesus gospel for 16 years. Christ for all nations says. God bless you so much indeed, Diane. Sandra Reese, I need 8 friends to close 400 subscribers. Thank you, Sandra. You and I are connected. Okay, you and I are connected on each other's channels. I make sure of all of that. Same here. I got chimes on my doorknob. Yes, every day is special for me. I celebrate. I woke up healthy and enjoy my family and friends. Absolutely, Ruby. Thank you, Reap What You Sow. I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody on here. You know, doing lives, it's a very, very interesting thing to do, because I go on a lot of my friends' lives. And sometimes I'll see one person on a live, and those are usually the ones I jump on because I want to support them. I want to be there for them. It's not easy doing a live. There's so many going on at any one time that if you're a newbie like me, and I'm a newbie, I'm just, you know, less than 2 months out here and have built a tremendous channel. TJ Crockett with Tanika, welcome, welcome. Rags TV, welcome, welcome. Please connect with each other. That's what my channel is about. It's about connecting with each other. Okay, that's what you want to do. You want to grow in life, whether it's in your in-person life or your virtual life. I have a very, very growth-oriented in-person life, and I'm a very, very warm and friendly person in person. But I don't let everybody into my inner circle. Okay. I have probably 10 people at most who are in my inner circle in life. And then you have that next circle, people that you're kind of close to, but they're not quite in the inner circle. And then you have the outer circle, and that's where most people are. So Viper Scratch Offs, welcome, welcome. Great to see you. And so if you all can help Sandra out, that would be wonderful. Okay. Confrontational and mixed up people are everywhere. Avoiding them to the best of one's ability is often the best way to deal with them. So I told you yesterday in my live that my son and I went to the grocery store. And as normal, we always let people go before us in the checkout line if they have just a couple things in their hands, because usually our cart is full. And so I motioned for this lady who was well dressed to go before us. She didn't say thank you. She didn't smile. She went before us. And I could sense, I kind of motioned for my son. I said, move back a little bit, move back. Let mom be here. Because I felt that her vibrations were not good. So immediately, even though I had welcomed her to go before me, she didn't thank me. She didn't smile at me, which was probably the first time that has ever happened where someone didn't at least say thank you. So not everybody out there do you want to make close friends. Some people have some real problems, and I'm all about supporting people with problems, but I'm not about them trashing my life in any way. Life with Bob and Boo Boo. Is it Bob or is it Boo Boo who is having the surgery tomorrow? We will pray for you. You know, I have a prayer candle. Let's see if I move a little bit here. See it on my, I have candles up, and the tall one is a prayer candle, and I have a lot of prayer candles, and I'm going to tell you the story behind the prayer candles, and we will pray for you. We will pray for you, Bob and Boo Boo. Asking for prayer tomorrow. He is, Bob or Boo Boo is having spine surgery tomorrow. Beth. Okay, Beth, we're going to pray. Oh, okay, Bob and Boo Boo are your cats. Okay, Beth, we will pray for you, and you are going to do well, and you're going to be healed. Get in your mind that you're going to go through this well, and that you're going to be fully healed and fully restored. Okay. My prayer candles I light every day. And how that started was I grew up around prayer candles. We used to go to the Catholic church and light the prayer candles, you know. And yes, Michelle says, for Beth, prayers for a great result and quick recovery. Okay. Jonathan Roseberry, you are welcome, welcome, welcome to be here. We're happy to have you. And Granny D is going to be praying for you, and make sure to go connect on Granny D's channel as well, and Michelle's and Ruby's and Carla's. I have great moderators. See, when I talk about people who surround me and support me, you know, if you want to be successful in life, you better have people that you can rely on. You better have people that have your back, that are watching out for you. Because when I'm on here, as when anyone does their lives, I can't see I can't keep up with the news feed. And so I have people that keep up for me, and I keep up for them when I'm on their channel. Okay. And I'm probably a moderator for, I don't know, 100 people now. And so, and I'm a good moderator. You know, if I see something that's not right, I put people in timeout, and then I block them. Yes, Irish Pinda Boy vlogs. You and I are connected. Irish Pinda Boy. I would love for you all to go over to his channel and see what's going on over there. Remember, we have to do things the right way. Oh, Granny G, you have an amazing channel. I come over there, and sometimes when I don't come, I'm in class. You know, I go to college, and you just make everyone feel so at home. Everybody that I talk about on here has to be a wonderful person for me to talk about them. Okay, so that's how you get talked about. If you're a bad person, I don't talk about you. I just block you or ignore you. But if you're a wonderful person, I talk about you. Okay. Thank you, Irish Pinda. Yes, we're all, I think I have, I'm going towards 3K. And I know people have huge channels and mine's very small in comparison, but that's 3K in less than 2 months. And so it's taken me a little while to get to know people, but I love it. I just love it. I love, love, love. It's grown so fast, my channel, and I'm just so happy. And it does take me a little while to get to know everybody and to get back to everybody, but I do. Quadier is here. Welcome, welcome, welcome to you. Getting older does not mean you have to act old. Think young, think energetic, think newness, stay young as you grow older. You all know I'm technically 62, but I'm attitude age 29 forever. I'm going to be 29 forever, okay? So you can just consider me 29 years old. That's right. Just like our mamas told us, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. Or was that on the Disney? Ha ha. Either way. Yeah, I think our mamas told us that. But you know what? The only time I say something that's not nice, oh, thank you. You're not small, Diana. Your channel is lovely and your heart is so big. Thank you, Irish Panda Boy. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Peace, everyone. Wilder. Thank you, Wilder. Are you coming or are you going? I hope you're coming on. Yes, Ruby's 21 forever. I'm 29, so I'm like her older sister. Yes, and I want to talk about that. Granny D just said something. That's great, Diana. I embrace my granniness. I did a video on that. Embrace aging the way you want. Some people go and get tons of cosmetic surgery. For me, I just work out and juice and take care of myself. Everyone says, oh, you've had all this plastic surgery. I haven't had anything. When I was 39, I had a mini lift. It didn't do anything for me. And they only last like a year or two. And other than that, that is it. That is it. I age gracefully or get younger by taking care of myself. But some people enjoy getting older, and they're our grandmothers. My grandmother loved being old, and we loved her because she was old and she was grandma, and she embraced, like Dee said, her granniness. I may come to a point that I become the grandma that sits on the front porch. Now, that's probably not the way I'll do it. I'll probably be the runner out there at 95 years old that everybody talks about. But I have friends that totally embrace, they let their hair go gray. They're embracing that. And that is so amazing and wonderful. And I applaud that because they're in a wonderful place. A wonderful, wonderful place. Not everyone wants to do the hard work, look 29 forever. And you can't really be 29, but you can think 29. And sometimes I think like a granny. I really do. Dee says, everyone always told me I had an old soul, even at a very young age. I enjoy being everyone's granny. And Dee, I love coming on your channel because you make me feel that way. But I also hope that people feel comfortable on my channel too, very much the way they do on Dee's channel, where you feel like you can come get a warm bowl of soup and a piece of bread, and you can sit and feel like you're being nourished spiritually. You have a safe place to come. And that's how Dee's page is. Humor is a powerful tool. If used wisely, it can be amazing. If used wrong, it can be a disaster. Lowering your standards will not raise your results. The soul will never lie to you, but your mind will. Think about that. Your soul will never lie to you, but your mind will. When people are at conflict, They're at conflict between their soul and their mind. Their soul and their mind. When people are agitated, they're in conflict with their soul and their mind. Their mind is telling them to do one thing. Their soul is reminding them to do another. TJ Crockett says, I enjoy getting, TJ Crochet. I enjoy getting older because I have so many friends and family members who didn't make it to the age I am today, which is 44. TJ, 44, you're so young. Oh my gosh. I haven't seen 44 for almost 20 years. Sandra still needs 8 to close in on 400. Self-correction is so important. When we try to fix a mess someone else created, we take away a much-needed learning tool, which is called self-correction. Yes, sometimes we can do it better and faster, creating the solution, but we take away the process for another when we do that. The process is a journey where they learn. They have to do their own work, and in the process, hopefully learn not to do it again. When we step in too soon, when they are not ready to fix themselves, we take that much needed learning from them. And likely the problem will resurface again and again till they have to figure it out and do the work to correct it. Self-correction is self-correction for a reason. It is meant for the person themselves to fix it. Okay. Dee says, oh, yes, I agree with you, Diana, that we accept each other however we choose to present ourselves. Absolutely. And, you know, I accept everybody where they're at in life. And I hope they accept me. You know, if someone doesn't accept you, move on. Phil and family bonding, welcome, welcome, welcome. Las Vegas, Ann, welcome, welcome, welcome. And there's Wilder Scott, Christ for All Nations, Sandra Reese, Rags TV, Quade Abdel Gahini. Yeah, okay, I think I pronounced it right. Irish Pinda Boy. Success is like a numbers game. The more you try, the more likely you will succeed. Even when you feel you are going in circles, often you are accomplishing a lot more than you may realize. You know, when my kids were looking for jobs, you know, they all go to college, but they were looking for part-time jobs. And I said, now, and so one of my kids said, oh, Mom, I put in an application, so I'll wait. I said, oh, no. You don't wait. You don't wait on one application. You put in 100 applications, and then you pick from the best jobs that offer you the job. I believe success is a numbers game. You get out there, you meet a number of people. I have this one person I know, and so I just don't want to make new friends because everybody's, you know, they're gossipy and all that. And I don't agree. I tell her, I don't agree with you. You know, now she's a person that if you tell her you don't agree with her, she gets offended, but I tell her anyhow. I don't worry about people being offended. And I don't purposefully do it, but, you know, I tell her, get back out there, make new friends. You know, it's up to you. The more you're out there, you know, the more, I said, you would have never met me had you had that attitude. I said, look, I'm your best friend. She considers me her best friend. And I said, you would have never met me had you not made it a number, you know, had you not been open to being friendly to me. It's a numbers game. Success is a numbers game. Putting job applications in, making friendships, trying new things. You're not going to like everything that you try. You know, we're always trying a new restaurant. We're always trying a new food. I'm always trying a new recipe. You know, I don't do the same old. Sometimes I do. But like last night, my husband and I had date night. That's why I didn't come on late last night, like I said, because we had date night. And we went to our favorite little restaurant. Now, we go there quite often, but I like it. I'm comfortable. I'm happy. I love the food. And yet, we also try new places too. Okay, because you never know when you're going to stumble onto something really, really, really good. Life is a numbers game. So is success. You want your life to flourish. Quit being stuck. You know, I get up every single day and I want my life to flourish. I do. And I want my relationships to flourish. I want my friendships to flourish. I'm all about flourishing. I'm all about flourishing. I'm all about maxing out my life. I don't overextend myself. Okay. Because that's where you get into trouble. That's where you make mistakes. That's where you get tired and worn out. Your relationship suffers. Your friendship suffers. But I do max out my life without going over the top. And I max out my schedule. I max out my days. You know, everything is pretty scheduled with flexibility in there. I take time out for my family. I take time out to rest, because rest, recharge, relax is so, so important. If you don't take time out, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to miss important cues that will help protect you. You know, I even take time out from YouTube because I want to be able to rest my mind so that I can see clearly what I'm doing. Unrested people make mistakes. So I make sure to rest, recharge, relax, and then I get back in there and max it out. I'm always maxing things out. There is, someone came up with the 10X rule. And on one of the channels that I regularly watch, the 10X rule. And I love it. I love it. You know, 10 times your size. Like we talk about going and getting a super big Slurpee. You know, I do that with my life. You know, I live larger than life. And, you know, I'm a larger than life personality in person. Everyone knows me. I meet people. I have wonderful, amazing friendships. Everyone knows my kids. All three of my kids are larger than life personalities. We're just a larger than life personality family. We're like the Munsters. You know, we really are like the Munsters, you know, or the Addams family. They're kooky. We're not kooky. We're a wonderful family, but we stand out. We just don't blend in. Even if we wanted to blend in, we don't. I have a son who will be home shortly, who's at work. He zooms up our private driveway on the motorcycle. You know, he comes in on a motorcycle. And, you know, we're just that family that everybody knows who we are. People know me as the woman who runs, you know, because I'm out there by the golf courses day in, day out, no matter what kind of weather. I'm out there doing my 5-mile run at 62 years old, at 62. So, you know, just be you and be happy being you. Okay. Just be happy. You know, like I get up and I just am happy being me. I love being me. I love me. And that's not being arrogant. I love being myself. I wouldn't want to be anybody but me. I have fun being me. Grandma Ducky, welcome, welcome, welcome. Ruby's Life in Oregon says, I like that movie, The Monster. My kids have watched it. I haven't watched it. Las Vegas and Tomahawk Hunts. Welcome, welcome. If I've missed your name, just jump back on and make a comment and I will shout you out. I love to shout out people for good reasons, not for bad reasons, okay? But for good reasons. And I love old movies. I don't watch garbage TV. You won't catch me. Now, last night, I did something unusual. I watched 48 Hours and Dateline. I don't usually watch those shows because, well, it's about such, you know, gruesome topics. But we have to remember there's a real side of life, too, that we need to know about. And so periodically, I'll jump on something like that, like Dr. Phil. I don't watch Dr. Phil per se because it's all dysfunction. But sometimes I'll jump on just to remind myself that life, you know, there's a lot of people out in the world and not all of them are living their best life or trying to live their best life. Okay. And what is your favorite movies? Put in the chat box what's your favorite movie. My favorite movie is a 1942 classic called A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. I originally read the book in high school. I've read it again to my children. It's a big book like Gone with the Wind. You will love, 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 love A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. It's hard to find. You can find it online or you can go to your local library and they will likely have it. It's an old, old, old book. And it's a story about a little girl named Francie who lives in kind of the poor side of the town in New York City during 1900, early 1900. And it is an amazing movie. It's free on YouTube. Just go look it up. A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, and you will watch it on YouTube. You will love, love, love this movie. It costs you nothing, and it's in its entirety. A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. There's another one I'm going to recommend to you. It's about a 1941 classic called Tobacco Road. Tobacco Road. It's a black and white. It's free on YouTube. Go look it up. It's about this kind of poor, crazy family going to the poorhouse. And so when I grew up, we had words like poorhouse and old people's home. There was no nursing homes when I grew up, and there was no food stamps or anything like that. I hear my son coming in on his motorcycle. If you see someone behind me in a big helmet and motorcycle gear, that will be my son. Okay. Yesterday, my husband walked in to tell me that our meeting was going to be earlier than expected, and I had to get off. Dee, are you talking about A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, or are you talking about Tobacco Road? They're both on YouTube for free in entirety, both in black and white. They're both amazing movies, absolutely, and they both have really a good message. Those are my, A Tree Grows in Brooklyn is my favorite movie of all time. It really is, and I have some favorites. Vroom, Vroom. Grandma Ducky says Vroom, Vroom. I have not seen that movie, Grandma Ducky. Yeah, so I watch old movies. I grew up on The Honeymooners. I grew up on Rabbit Ears. I grew up on party line telephones. I grew up in the South where we were poor and we did not have food stamps back then. So we had commodity boxes. So my brother and I'll tell you this story. Let me tell you this story because so I can take off my glasses. Okay, I'll tell you a story, but I need a sip of coffee here first. Let me get my sip of coffee. So there were three classes of people in my little hillbilly town. There were the rich people, which really weren't rich. Those were people that could afford to buy a new car now and then. And then there was the poor people, which we were. And then there were the dirty necks. Well, we lived next door to the rich people. And that was my friend Kirby, which many of you who have been with me a long time will remember. That was my first boyfriend. He was 6, I was 5. He had the Barbie dream house and the Barbie car. He played with dolls, okay? And he was kind of nerdy and wore big glasses. And I used to defend him on our way to kindergarten every day because the bullies would try to beat him up. And so I would pretend like I was a bull and I was going to charge the big bullies. And so they never bothered Kirby as long as he was with me. But anyhow, he was from the rich family and they bought a new Chevy Impala every year. We were from the poor family, so we had to go get commodity boxes, and I'll tell you that story in a minute. But we lived next door to the dirty necks, and so the poor people looked down on the dirty necks, and the dirty necks looked down on the poor people, and the rich people looked down on everybody. So we were the poor people, and so the dirty necks, their trash would blow in our yard, and the smell from their house would blow over when the wind came. So we didn't like the dirty necks very much. So anyhow, we were so poor. We had a car, and it sometimes only went in reverse. And so my brother and I, who was 16 and I was 5, I think I was 5, he and I would get into the old car and we would go in reverse, and I would be on the lookout for the police, and then we'd pull over real quick. So because we had to go backwards in reverse all the way to the courthouse to get the box of commodity. And commodities was food. They give you flour and eggs and cheese and milk and things like that. And so we were the poor folks. And so we had this old car, and it would break down. The hood flew off of it one time, and I told y'all the story about the little record player, how we all walked, Kirby and I would walk to school, and then the bullies would follow us, and we would stop at the little hardware store that had this little red record player in the window. And so what happened was we all kept saying, oh, that our parents are going to buy us that little red record player. And so, we all knew that, well, my friend Kirby, he really thought he was going to get it because, well, his family could afford it. We couldn't. It was $20 and we could not afford that little red record player. And so one day, Kirby and I and the bullies were all coming home, and we stopped, and all of us were kind of stunned. The little red record player was no longer there, And I just started bawling and crying because I knew, we couldn't afford that little red record player. So I took off running. I ran all the way home, and I opened up our screen door to the kitchen. My mom was standing there, and she said, "Why are you sobbing? Why are you crying?" I said, "The little red record player is gone." She said, "I know it is. Go look on the kitchen table." And I looked over on the kitchen table, and there was that little red record player. My mom and dad had come up with the $20 to buy me that little red record player. Dreams do come true. Okay. I knew at that point in my life, at 5 years old, that dreams do come true. And many years later, right when I first met my husband, okay, and I was madly in love, and he was madly in love, my boss, who was a woman, and she called me Brianne because my name is Diana Brianne. It's a first name. And so she said, "Brianne," she said, "dreams do come true." And I remembered that. And what she said to me pushed me forward, and I ended up marrying my husband. And that was 30 years ago. Okay. I've had amazing jobs in my life that I've loved. I've had a few crappy ones that I didn't like, and I know the difference, but I've had these amazing jobs because I believed in myself. I lived in Hollywood. I came from a small southern town that was poor. And I moved out there as a late teenager and decided I wanted to go to Hollywood. And there I was looking like Ellie Mae Clampett, going to Hollywood. And I can tell you many, many stories, and I'll save that for another day and another live. And I'll share with you some of my wonderful, wonderful, amazing stories. People that I won't tell you who I met, because you would all recognize their names. I dated the guys that I dated, all of that back then. I was in my early 20s, and, that was a fascinating time. And, but you know what? I settled for love. I married for love. And I'm so, so, so glad I did. I remember one very famous, there were 4 brothers, and they're very, very well known. You'd know them, who they are immediately. And one of them was really not all that nice. I dated him. We went out to dinner. We were in Beverly Hills, and he was not nice to the waiter. And I refused to go out with him after that, because my grandmother always told me how they treat somebody else is how they're going to treat you. Anyhow, he got married later on, and I heard that his wife was very, very unhappy. And I just don't want to be around people like that. My husband, he's so kind. He's very, very kind. And I noticed that right away. And I just love him. We're not perfect. I'm not a perfect wife. I don't try to be. And I don't look for perfect relationships. I look for wonderful relationships. Okay. So back on with the glasses. Okay. Hope I'm not boring you all. I hope you're all connecting with each other. Granny D says, "Very sweet story, Diana. Thanks for allowing me to mod for you. I have to go and get ready for my live. Love and blessings." Granny D, as soon as I'm going to be done here pretty soon, so I will be coming over to visit you, my dear. Okay, because I'm not going to the gym today, so I will be over to visit you. And Michelle will, and probably everybody here will come over, and we will do a raid on your channel. Okay, we'll just do that when we leave here. And Hood Workout Z Bezzy, welcome. I'm going to go through. It's nice. I support you all the way. Thank you, the Kruns. Thank you. And I'm going to stay on here a couple more minutes, and then I'm going to leave. I just want to go through a couple more wisdom notes, and then that will be it with here. And you know what? I don't know when I'm going to be on, but I may be on tonight. I may just jump on from the laundry room, because I have a family. I don't like to inconvenience them out here. Right now, everyone's gone, but they'll all be home tonight. So I may fold laundry and do a live tonight. Okay. So be looking out for me. I don't know what time that would be. Thank you, Ruby. I have a lot of them. Don't expect someone who does not play fair to play by your rules. and don't expect them to play fair with you if they don't play fair with other people. If they'll lie to someone else and cheat with somebody else, they're going to do the same to you. Darkness resents light. That's why nice people get trolls. That's why my channel gets trolls, because I'm light and they're not. They're sitting in their grandmother's basement somewhere staring at an old box computer going from channel to channel. Find people who are already doing what you want to do and hang out with them. People with low standards often resent people with high standards, but rarely is it the other way. A half-hearted attempt is one where the mind says one thing and the heart says another. When your heart's into it, it will never be a half-hearted attempt. Success tends to follow when the heart and mind are in unison. Self-conflict is when the heart and mind are in opposite direction. Reach for the stars, but let go of unrealistic goals. Everyone has to determine for themselves what is realistic and what is not. Holding on to unrealistic goals often will keep us from the ones that are realistic. Don't leave this life without a well-written book for others to read. I have notebooks and notebooks and notebooks and computerized, generated. All my wisdom notes are there from 6 years old to this very day. Everything is written down for my kids. I have 8,000 YouTube videos up. Some I have not released, but I have 8,000 videos. What you see are all current, done that day. But for my kids, I have 8,000 wisdom videos. So they can just go to Mom's wisdom collection and say, hey, Mom, what would you do? Even when I'm not around. Helping Hand, welcome, welcome, welcome. Tomahawk Hunts is here. Wrong decisions almost always come from listening to a wrong voice and letting someone influence you that you should not have allowed to influence you. We're all susceptible to suggestion. Obstacles are created by God to slow us down for the blessing we would otherwise miss. God does not let an obstacle come into our life without a blessing attached on the other end. Who you follow determines where you go in life. When a winner becomes a failure, it is almost always from a wrong association. Winners cut ties as soon as they recognize a wrong association. Failures linger too long. When something is right, the soul and mind will be in harmony. Wrong decisions are felt in the soul and are often at battle with the mind. Most people lower their standards to the floor. I higher my standards to the ceiling. Elevate and keep your standards high. Adding things without purpose creates clutter. As long as you are alive, God will have divine purpose for you. People often stop their blessings by turning off the spigot God turned on. Fake relationships are not loyal. Genuine relationships are loyal. Don't let wrong people or relationships get their tentacles stuck in you. People who do not take care of their health or bodies often suffer from low self-esteem. People with high self-esteem know the value of taking care of their bodies. God knew your story even before you began to write it. People often use the name of God to validate their skewed or misguided thinking. When people start saying, well, God told me this, you know, okay, God told you that, I guess, but I'm very skeptical. I believe that God speaks to us in our souls, and that's what a lot of people call intuition. God speaks to us with that soft, gentle voice that is consistent. Every season has its unique gifts, blessings, and challenges. When we embrace each of those blessings in the season we are in our lives, we can be very blessed. Each challenge is teaching us what we didn't know before. We are also given choices in our seasons, great choices, okay choices, and wrong choices. All choices are up to us. I choose great choices, of course, and yet I always say that God can even work with the wrong choice and eventually turn it into a right choice with right results. Although it will look different had one chosen the great choices in the beginning. We are given choices in each season, so make sure to choose the great choices in that season. If they weren't for you, they would not be there for you to pick from. So remember, great choices is part of the season you are in. Embrace the season that you're in. Don't compare your season to someone else's season. Each person has their own seasons and blessings to choose from. Don't rush a season or slow it down. It cannot be rushed or slowed down. So simply embrace the one you are in. Enjoy your season that you are in life. And Christ Chicole, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you. You know, I'm going to get off of here because I may come back on tonight. I may, from my laundry room. And I wanted to come on. Now, tomorrow is going to be an extremely busy day, and so is Tuesday, because all my classes open up on Mondays. And that's when all the homework and assignments and projects and all that come, you know, from my college classes and traveling to and traveling from. And I also have my workout schedule. You know, every day I have my family, I have my art. I'm a very, very busy person, and I have to take time to rest. So, you know, I may come back on tonight because today is a perfect day for me to come on live, even though it's Sunday, and I use Sunday as my day of rest. It's my day of rest, but for me, this is rest. This is fun. And probably not tomorrow, probably not Tuesday, but possibly Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you know, whatever works for me, depending on my homework and depending on what's going on in my family. You know, my kids keep me really, really busy, and I'm a mom and I'm a wife, and those are my number one roles, is mom and wife, wife and mom. And then everything else, you know, follows behind it, trails behind it. And always know your priorities, always know your most important relationships, invest in your important relationships, reinvest in your important relationships, create your important relationships to flourish, flourish, flourish. And if they're stuck in the mud somewhere, get them out of the mud, clean them off, and put them back on the road of life. I don't care if you've been married forever and your marriage is kind of stuck, you know, put that energy back into it. Don't wait for your spouse to do it. You do it. You get busy. You get busy creating a wonderful marriage. You know, my husband will tell you, I dance around in stilettos for him, you know, and, you know, I keep my marriage, I keep that flame going. I keep that, you know, after 30 years, you know, 30 years. Yeah. And so you want to live your life, bless your relationships. I pray blessings over all of you. I pray abundance over you. I pray for your channels. I pray that your channels flourish. I pray for all that is wonderful coming your way. I pray for safety. I pray for divine protection. I pray for goodness, goodness, goodness in your life. May your dreams, the right dreams for your life, come true. And just be happy. Live your very, very, very best life. Well, I'm going to go. Thank you to my moderators, Michelle, Ruby, Carla, Granny G, and everyone else who was on here. I know I'm forgetting somebody. And I'll remember you after I get off of here. So thank you for whose name I forget to mention. I go back over the news feed. I read all the comments. And so I just want you to know that I'm so grateful and so thankful that you come on my channel, that you want to connect with me. I really value, I'm humbled by it. Remember, successful people always have a sense of humility. Don't lose your sense of humility, because if you do, you'll fail. Humility is essential in your life. Okay, remember that. Not being humiliated, but being humble. Be humble. Be humble. Okay, remember that. So I'm going to go. And I'm going to go jump on a few more lives. I'm going to go answer comments. I'm going to go read. Remember, I'll get back to your comments within probably, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, because I'm new at this. I'm so new at this. And my channel's growing. And I pray that your channel grows, and grows. Love you all much. May God bless you. And how do we do it? Okay, let's do it right. Okay. From my house to your house. May God bless you. And I hope to talk to you soon again. Bye-bye.